Breaking news tonight, even more details appear to be leaking out from that long-awaited IG report on so-called deep state involvement in President Trump's 2016 campaign. According to the New York Times, the report will name at least one low-level FBI official, a lawyer named Kevin Kleinsmith, accusing him of manipulating the details of an email that was later used to obtain surveillance warrants on Carter Page. The Times also outs Mr. Kleinsmith as FBI attorney number 2 from the June 2018 IG report. That would make him the unnamed FBI official who was removed by special counsel Robert Mueller after his election day text messages came to light, telling another FBI employee, quote, "I just can't imagine the systemic disassembly of the progress we made over the last 8 years. ACA is gone. Who knows if the rhetoric about deporting people, walls, and crap is true? The crazies won finally. Also, Pence is stupid." Here with reaction to that, Matt Whitaker is a former acting attorney general under President Trump. Matt, good evening to you, and thank you for being here. What do you make of that?
Well, it's unfortunate because not only does this, as it's described in news reports, a low-level FBI lawyer change a document that was used to get this FISA that's caused a lot of controversy, it really brings into question the entire process with which these FISA or Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act warrants are obtained. And, then the question is, well, who knew or who should have known that the documents were manipulated to, in part to get this warrant? And I think, the American people expect this report we're going to have 2 weeks from Monday to shed a lot of light, to hold people accountable, and also provide some transparency to this whole process.
More on Mr. Kleinsmith on what exactly he did here. This is in the New York Times. Mr. Kleinsmith took an email from an official at another federal agency that contained several factual assertions, then added material to the bottom that looked like another assertion from the email's author when it was instead his own understanding. Mr. Kleinsmith included this altered email in a package that he compiled for another FBI official to read in preparation for signing an affidavit that would be submitted to the court attesting to the facts and analysis in the wiretap application. Obviously, we are going to learn a whole lot more. Why do you think we're getting this now?
Well, so why we're getting this now is there are certain individuals that are named in this report and criticized in this report, together with folks at the Department of Justice that have seen it. And I think some of these are preemptory to try to shape the message coming out of this report, because my understanding of this report is it's going to be very critical of not only the Carter Page FISA, but also the FISA process generally. And so, I also think, the American people have watched 2 weeks of people presuming things like this gentleman did. And so I think, at some point in time, the actual facts matter. And in this case, in obtaining ex parte, which means the person you're surveilling doesn't have a lawyer that represents them and doesn't even know they're being surveilled, I think, this is a very dangerous to have anybody in the chain of obtaining that warrant that would manipulate evidence or information to obtain that.
President Trump suggested that the revelation of this report, the Horowitz report, December 9th, it's expected. We will hear testimony from Horowitz himself, and it's estimated December 11th. He projected that this is going to be historic. Do you believe that it'll live up to that level of expectation?
I do. I think it's going to be one of the more consequential Inspector General reports we've seen in probably the last 2 decades. I think it is going to hopefully begin the process of a restoration of confidence in the Department of Justice and the FBI that I think was lost to some extent through the Mueller investigations and through this Carter Page FISA situation. And I hope that they lay out as many facts as possible as to how we got here, because, there are just so many open questions. There are obviously some conspiracy theories, but I know the president's certainly been briefed on it by Attorney General Barr at this point. And so I would expect if the president's saying that this is going to be a big deal, that it is a big deal.
Well, we anticipate that. We will learn a whole lot more in the coming weeks. Matt Whitaker, we appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.